The story begins in 1952 in a village in Konkan, where a Maharashtrian Brahmin boy named Gotiya lived. By nature, Gotiya was extremely stubborn and dangerous. He falls in love with a girl named Munni, who is 7 years older than him. Despite the significant age difference, Gotiya becomes obsessively fixated on her. His obsession grows to such an extent that he even attempts to poison and kill Munni's would-be husband. Gotiya is determined to marry Munni at any cost, but his entire family and the village stand firmly against him. When he refuses to give up his stubbornness, his family shaves his head and forces him into a life of celibacy. Meanwhile, Munni gets married, but even after that, Gotiya does not stop pursuing her. He continues trying to win her at any cost. Eventually, in order to fulfill his unfulfilled desire, Gotiya decides to take the help of black magic. One night, he takes his younger sister Geeta with him into a dense and terrifying forest known as Chetak Wadi. There, he begins performing a dangerous ritual. This ritual requires a human sacrifice to be completed. For this reason, Gotiya attempts to kill his own sister Geeta. Geeta desperately tries to save her life, leading to a fierce struggle between the two. During the struggle, Gotiya crashes into a tree and suffers a fatal head injury, leading to his immediate death. Even in his final moments, the only name on his lips is Munni. After his death, his last rites are performed, and his ashes are buried beneath a peepal tree. Special chants are recited over the site. The reason for this is that Gotiya died before completing 10 days after his head-shaving ritual. According to traditional beliefs, if a Brahmin boy dies so soon after such a ritual, he transforms into a terrifying entity known as a Brahma Rakshasa, also called a Munjya. It is believed that such a Munjya wanders endlessly to fulfill its unfulfilled desires and often troubles its own blood relatives. To prevent this, a ritual is performed where the ashes are buried beneath a tree, binding the spirit to that tree so it cannot roam freely. However, in some cases, the Munjya manages to break free from this bond and possesses a relative to fulfill its desires. Gotiya had now become a Munjya, bound to the tree, constantly trying to break free from its confinement. Anyone who went near that tree would be harassed by the Munjya. Because of this fear, the villagers completely stopped going into the Chetak Wadi forest. As time passed, many years went by. Gotiya's younger sister Geeta had grown old and now had a family of her own. The land of Chetak Wadi was now in Geeta's name, but she refused to sell it, as she did not want anyone to fall into the trap of that terrifying spirit. However, her eldest son, who lived in Pune with his wife and child, wanted to sell the land. Geeta's elder son was extremely eager to sell the land. He did not believe in any of these supernatural stories at all. Therefore, he decided to burn down the peepal tree in which the Munjya was trapped. He goes alone into the Chetak Wadi forest and attempts to set the tree on fire. However, the moment he begins, the Munjya attacks him. There is no one around to save him, and eventually, the Munjya brutally kills him. The truth about this incident is hidden from Geeta's grandson Bittu, who is the son of her elder son. He is never told how and where his father actually died. Instead, a normal story of death is created for him. After this, Geeta moves to Pune along with her elder daughter-in-law Pammi and her grandson Bittu. She leaves the village forever and never returns. However, the story does not end here. Even while living in Pune, Bittu starts having strange and disturbing dreams. He repeatedly sees the same forest of Chetak Wadi and a terrifying shadow appears before him. It is the same Munjya, which is still chasing its blood relatives. Since Bittu is a descendant of Gotiya, the curse has now reached him as well. Interestingly, Bittu's father used to have similar dreams as well, but no one had paid attention to them at that time. Now it was becoming clear that these were not ordinary dreams but dangerous signs. The Munjya was trying to free itself from the tree and intended to use its own blood relatives to achieve this. Meanwhile, another event is taking place in the village. Geeta's granddaughter Ruku, who is the daughter of her younger son Badu, gets engaged. The entire family is filled with joy, but no one has any idea that this happiness is about to turn into something terrifying. The Munjya has become active once again, and no one knows who its next target will be. For this reason, Geeta, Pammi and Bittu return to the village. However, Badu does not like his elder brother's wife and son at all. This leads to a heated argument between Pammi and Badu. In anger, Badu reveals the truth to Bittu about where and how his father died. Bittu cannot believe it, and in rage, he goes alone to Chetak Wadi. As soon as he approaches the peepal tree, the Munjya captures him, having waited for years for one of his descendants. On the other hand, when Geeta finds out that Bittu has gone into the forest, she immediately follows him. She carries an old stick with her, the same stick her mother used to beat Gotiya during his childhood. Even now, Gotiya fears that stick. Taking advantage of this fear, Geeta manages to free Bittu from the Munjya's grip. After that, both of them try to leave the forest. However, before they leave, the Munjya marks Bittu's back with his hand. Because of this mark, he is able to leave the tree and take control over Bittu. The Munjya is now free from Chetak Wadi and has made Bittu his new host, allowing him to go anywhere through him. After they exit the forest, the Munjya attacks again and kills Geeta. The next day, Bittu returns to Pune with his mother. However, his life is completely changed now. As soon as evening falls, the Munjya appears before him. It is visible only to Bittu because he is its descendant. The Munjya has only one obsession: he wants to marry Munni. However, Bittu does not even know who Munni is. Despite this, the Munjya forces him to find her. If Bittu refuses, the Munjya threatens to kill the people close to him. Out of fear, Bittu begins searching for Munni and wanders outside his house all night. Because of this, Bittu's condition worsens significantly. Seeing his behavior, people assume that he has started taking drugs due to the grief of his grandmother's death. However, the truth is completely different. One day, Bittu tells everything to his cousin Diljit, also known as Spielberg. At first, Spielberg does not believe him. However, soon he also starts hearing the Munja's voice and sensing its presence. Now he is convinced that Bittu was telling the truth. After that, both of them decide to find Munni together. After investigating, they discover that Munni is actually the grandmother of their friend Bela, who is currently living in Pune. Upon learning this, Bittu and Spielberg go to Bela's house to meet her. However, when the Munjya sees the old Munni, he loses interest in her. Instead, he shifts his focus to Bela, as she looks exactly like Munni did in her youth. For his liberation, the Munjya wants to marry Bela and then sacrifice her. But Bittu does not want this to happen. He does not want anyone to die, and on top of that, he has fallen in love with Bela. Therefore, to save her, Bittu and Spielberg begin searching for a way to get rid of the Munjya. In this process, they approach an exorcist named Elvis Karim Prabhakar, who is an expert in dealing with Brahma Rakshasas like the Munjya. Elvis Karim Prabhakar knew the complete history of this Brahma Rakshasa, the Munjya. He had already eliminated 4 such entities in the past. Elvis explains that they can trick Gotiya by staging a marriage and then destroy him permanently. According to him, for the Munja's liberation, its spirit must first be transferred into a goat's body. After that, the goat is symbolically married, followed by the sacrifice of the bride. However, if the goat is killed before the marriage takes place, the Munjya can be destroyed forever. This entire ritual had to be performed under the same tree where Gotiya's ashes were buried. Now Bittu and Spielberg understood exactly what they needed to do. They just had to somehow bring Bela to the village so they could execute their plan in Chetak Wadi. However, they do not reveal the truth to Bela, and instead plan to take her there under the pretense of an advertisement shoot. Elvis also goes to the village to assist them, but he maintains some distance so that the Munjya does not suspect anything. Meanwhile, Ruku also begins to see the Munjya, as she too is a descendant of Gotiya. Therefore, Bittu and Spielberg include her in their plan. The 3 of them begin preparing for the ritual and steal one of Badu's goats to perform the ceremony. They then mix alcohol in coconut water and give it to Bela, causing her to lose control and become influenced by them. After that, all of them reach Chetak Wadi and begin the ritual as planned. As per the ritual, they draw a special mark on the goat's head, allowing Gotiya's spirit to enter the goat. According to the plan, Bittu was supposed to kill the goat to eliminate the Munjya. However, something unexpected happens at that very moment, changing everything completely. In her intoxicated state, Bela draws the same mark on her own head. As a result, the Munjya spirit leaves the goat and enters Bela's body, while Bela's spirit gets trapped inside the goat. Seeing this, Gotiya becomes furious and attacks all of them, as they had tried to deceive him. Terrified, Bittu, Spielberg and Ruku escape the forest with the goat and inform Elvis about everything over the phone. When they reach home, Badu snatches the goat away from them. To retrieve the goat, they seek Pami's help. However, at that moment, the Munjya, now inside Bela's body, arrives and attacks them. Just then, Elvis reaches there and traps the Munjya inside a circle using a special kind of salt. When they go to retrieve the goat from Badu, they discover that he has already cooked and eaten it. Hearing this, Elvis assumes that Bela's soul has now entered Badu's body, so he draws the same mark on his head to send the soul back to its original body. Meanwhile, the Munjya breaks free from the circle and arrives there. At that moment, Spielberg finds the real goat that contains Bela's soul. In reality, Badu had eaten a different goat. However, since the mark had already been drawn on Badu's head, the Munjya spirit leaves Bela's body and enters Badu's body, allowing Bela to return to her original form. Now, the Munjya had entered Badu's body and had become even more dangerous than before. It starts attacking everyone. First, it attacks Elvis and leaves him severely injured and unconscious. After that, it overpowers Bittu and takes Bela into the forest, intending to fulfill its unfinished desire and sacrifice her. After the Munjya leaves, Bittu is completely shattered. At that moment, the spirit of his grandmother Geeta appears before him. She encourages him and reminds him that he has the strength to end this evil. Geeta gives him the same old stick that Gotiya feared since childhood. Now Bittu has one final chance. Bittu takes the stick and goes into the forest to confront the Munjya. Using the power of the stick, he frees Bela and then engages in a fight with the Munjya. However, the Munjya is still extremely powerful and begins to overpower Bittu. The situation once again starts slipping out of control. At that moment, Bittu makes a clever move. He draws the soul transfer mark on the same tree where Gotiya's ashes were buried. Due to this, the Munjya is pulled back into the tree. However, it still refuses to give up and tries to attack them through the branches of the tree. Finally, Bittu and Bela pour oil on the tree and set it on fire. As the tree burns, the Munjya is completely destroyed. After this, both of them return to Pune. There, Bittu confesses his love to Bela, but she considers him only a friend and does not want to lose him. Meanwhile, back in the village, the spirit of the tree still lingers within Badu's body, and the real Badu's soul remains trapped inside a goat. In the end, some villagers cut down the burnt tree, but even then, the Munjya is not entirely gone.